There's a common saying that dogs are a man's best friend. I'm not sure where or when that proverb began, but I do know that in my case it's true. This is the story of Momo, my pet border collie and my best friend. Now you may be thinking, this is going to be another video of someone showing off the tricks that their dog can do. However, that is not the case. As you will find out, that is not at all what this story is about. I first met Momo last November. I went to a dog breeders convention in northern Japan. There were only two breeds I was interested in bringing home as a pet, a border collie or a Shetland sheepdog, both of which are not very popular in Japan. As I walked through row and row of Akitas, Shibas, and Dachshunds, I was beginning to lose hope in getting a dog that day. Then, the very last cage in the last row was a single border collie. She was already almost 6 months old and seemed to be very small. As she lay there sleeping, I said to her, "If you want to come home with me, you have to let me know." Nothing. She didn't even open an eye. So I started to walk away. Suddenly, behind me, I heard the noise of the cage moving. I turned and she was standing staring at me, her tail wagging. It was apparent from her size that she was the runt of the litter. When the breeder placed her in my arms and she nuzzled me, I knew I had found my dog. She was prepared and put into a box for transportation, and off we went to go to our new home. It was during that trip that problems were first noticed. This little puppy kept coughing and wheezing, and she didn't bark at all. I thought perhaps it was just kennel cough, and made an appointment with the local veterinarian. Before I continue, I need to let you know how she got her name. I wanted to give her the name of a Japanese princess, but soon discovered that those names were too difficult for me to pronounce correctly. The next option was a name that was simple and easy for both English and Japanese speakers to say. The name Momocho was suggested, which means pink butterfly, and since she had a little pink muzzle, it fit. That name was quickly abbreviated to just Momo, and that name stuck. Momo, by the way, happens to mean peach. Now back to the story. The vet took x-rays and we were told that Momo had mild pneumonia and that it may take a long time for the pneumonia to clear up. We had to keep her warm. As the weeks passed, Momo was not making progress, at times seeming to get even worse. We took her back to the veterinarian and the x-rays showed no improvement. I decided to get a second opinion and went to a different vet. The prognosis was the same, pneumonia, but the remedy was different. This too failed to work. Momo seemed to have less energy each day and spent most of the time gagging and coughing. The outlook was grim. The second vet then suggested that I take Momo to the Veterinarian College Hospital about 30 minutes from my house. She said it would be expensive, but they had access to technologies not available at her clinic. So Momo, who at this point was just over 6 months, was going to see her third veterinarian. The university veterinarian admitted her right away and advised me that Momo stay at least 3 days so she could be put into a vaporizer cage. My first thought was vaporizer, like Marvin the Martian from the Bugs Bunny cartoons? But it was a mistranslation of sorts. Momo had to receive her medicines in a vaporized form, and there was a special sealed cage the staff used at the hospital. I remember being a nervous wreck because this seemed to be Momo's last hope. On the second day I received an update. Momo was showing improvement and had started to eat a lot. Finally, I thought maybe she would be okay. When I picked her up, she was a different dog. She was more active and happy, and her tail wagged a whole lot. I could actually pick her up and hold her without her coughing and gagging. This, however, is not the happy ending to the story. After about a week, Momo started getting weak again. She was slipping back to her prior self. After another trip to the hospital, the veterinarian suggested she receives her medicines 3 times a week in the vaporizer cage. Her chest x-rays were also sent to a specialist for review. The report was not good. Momo had many donuts on her chest x-rays, which means that she had been sick for so long that the tissues in her lungs that were supposed to be soft had hardened and were not functional. He said that at best, she would only have about 30% capacity in her right lung. Momo would never be a normal dog. She wouldn't be able to run around for very long, do tricks, or chase frisbees. However, to me none of that mattered. I just wanted her to be happy and comfortable. Driving Momo to the hospital 3 times a week became expensive and time-consuming. After doing some research, I found that she could receive the same treatment at home. So I bought a nebulizer, created a sealed cage, and was able to save time by giving Momo her treatment at home. Her medicines had changed, so now she receives less, but has to get treatment every day. So how is Momo doing now, you ask? She's doing great. She may be the smallest border collie in the world. She's about half the size of an average border collie. Momo enjoys chasing the 2 cats in the house, but her favorite thing is to go for walks in the mornings and the evening. During her walk, she visits with her human friends that she has made along the route. Momo is also bilingual, understanding most commands in both Japanese and English. My favorite aspect of her is that she insists that I pick her up every time I return from being away from the house. She will follow me around until I pick her up. Momo has really become a man's best friend.